Thank you, everyone. I just want to thank Rashmi and Raki because you don't know how much hard they have been working every day morning, and then at night they have been sitting for last 2 3 days and trying to finish their presentation. It has been a difficult time, and on a Friday night in US, everyone wants to sleep. By this time, Raki must have already finished her first sleep
Can you
cycle.
tell what is the time over there? अभी क्या time हो रहा है वहाँ पे
It's
यूएस
only
में?
10 p.m., but
It's
on
10 p.m.
Friday evening, some people like to sleep, and Raki Krishnan is one of them. But she has done really excellent, and I'll talk to her later on about it. Second thing I would like to say, 6:30 in the morning, around 150 people coming is a great thing. Like that's a great interest over there.
I would like to add to that COVID-19 has basically brought people together.
Certainly, certainly.
Third thing I would like to say that this are whatever expressed here are not expert opinion, but they are personal experiences. Okay, we are not we are not supporting anything or against anything. And second thing is we are all contributing in some way or the other towards this pandemic, and we are all learning. Even Dr. Fauci always says, whom I greatly respect, that this is a learning process, and we have learned. As a surgeon, I have learned a lot of things. So that is the first question which I saw, and that was a question regarding when can the person donate COVID plasma. So I will direct it to Rashmi to answer that question.
So yes, people who have actually recovered from COVID-19 infection and are without symptoms for at least 14 days post symptoms. These people can actually donate. They do not have to be tested for any COVID-19 PCR or any antibody. They can go to the blood bank and they can donate if they are symptom free for at least 14 days post the infection.
The next question we have here is uh, we advise here Jal Niti hot vaporization. Any views, Raki, you have on that if you are well aware of Jal Niti? This is a yoga session, so you will have a yoga question.
I don't know exactly what Jal Niti is, but
I will take over then. So Jal Niti basically is a yoga. Correct me if I am wrong. By which basically it's a nasal cleansing process. Okay, and that has been practiced. In fact, one of the hospital in Pune physician practiced it, and they said that was very effective. I really respect people who do yoga, and I really admire. But I think so. This is an adjunct. ये आप जलनेति आप बाकी सबके साथ कर सकते हो, सिर्फ जलनेति करने से कोविड-19 नहीं जाएगा। तो ये कहना है, अगर वी हैव टू प्रूव दैट जलनेति, एंड दिस इज माय पर्सनल ओपिनियन, कि जलनेति से सब ठीक होगा, तो द ओनली वे टू प्रूव इज we have to send a doctor in a room where COVID-19 patient is there without mask, without PPE, and he goes in, patient is coughing, and he comes out and does Jalniti and doesn't get infected. That is not possible. That study is not possible. The only way I say is wear your mask, wear your gown, do social isolation, and when you come home, you can do Jalneti, you can drink hot water, you can apply castor oil to your nose, whatever makes you comfortable, immune booster, everything is good as long as it is not harming you. So Jalneti is good to clean your nose. We use for sinuses, sinusitis, and you can practice that. But I cannot definitely say at this juncture that it is the treatment which is, or it is a precautionary measure, 100% precautionary measure, if I have answered your question. Okay.
Yes.
There is a
One
question.
should take to what preparation one SC?
Seema,
What are the best preventive measures one should take to avoid COVID?
what are the best preventive measures? You want to take it?
Yeah, best preventive measures would be to actually, not go out in public. If you're going out in public, always wear a face mask. And when you come home, you have to actually have this repeated hand washing technique where you are keeping your hand hygiene. Jal Niti, I think, is also good. It's just a nasal hygiene procedure. If you can do it, it's fine, but it is not advisable for people who are hypertensive. So I would actually say that if people are having some blood pressure issues, they should not be doing Jal Niti.
Other precautionary measure is social distancing is 6 feet outside. What we practice in US now, I know in India there is lockdown, a lot of stress because the population is huge. Social isolation in India is next to impossible until unless there is lockdown. Actually, in US, we all go out, we go biking, we go hiking, we go everything, but we maintain mask, we maintain social distancing, we are with our friends, but we know that they are not having any symptoms. So that is the best way. Now, there was a question which I had moderated a session with another infectious disease doctor, and there was a question which was asked, what should we do if we have family member together or couple of friends come to us? If you want to have some friends, first of all, it is not advisable to get anyone, but the thing you can do is you can maintain ventilation in home, open your windows, air conditioner, whatever helps you ventilation. That would be a better way for air circulation and preventing any spread of infection.
So there are a lot of questions. This question, can we donate blood in this pandemic? Of course, you can donate blood in the pandemic. So currently in USA, what is happening is definitely we need blood. The blood banks, hospital, they need blood because there are not only patients of COVID-19, you will have acute care patients who are, people who are going a delivery. They need blood. So yes, you definitely you can donate blood. Now you just have to make sure. In US, basically what they are doing is the American Red Cross Society, they schedule a date and a time for donating blood, and that is how you can actually schedule a day, a time, and only one person at a time should be donating blood. There is another question there is news about antiviral mouthwash. Is it effective to decrease the viral load? I did read about this actually, this news about antiviral mouthwash. This was a study done in Sweden, but I am not 100% sure how the study was done on which patients was it done. So oral hygiene, of course, is going to help because, like I told you, the nose, the lungs, those are the most common ports of entry. So keeping a mouthwash would be good. I am not sure about the antiviral mouthwash.
Raki, you have anything to add?
Right, just to give you a couple points on that. So the virus is droplet and mostly by respiratory. It's a respiratory pathogen, right? So it has to go through your nasal mucosa. So even if you have an antiviral oral, mouthwash, it's not going to help much. I think it's more when you inhale the virus and someone coughs and sneezes in front of you, that is the way it is transmitted. So mask. That's it.
Raki, one question directed to you. There is a question which is, ma'am, if we have a breathing problem, can we live for a long time in COVID-19?
Absolutely. Just
Good.
stay indoors, be careful, and you can just live as you were living. There's no reason for you to have any problems as long as you don't get the infection. Yeah, but you have to be careful because higher morbidity with people who have chronic lung conditions. Definitely.
Yeah, and as Rashmi pointed to the slide, the microscopic slide, if your lungs are well expanded, good oxygenation, with COVID-19, the lung is destroyed. So if you have lung problem, just exercise, the breathing exercises and whatever Raki has said.
The pranayam is going to help. The 10-minute breath test is going to help in improving your breathing issues.
So why does COVID-19 disease spread more from dead bodies? Do you want to take it?
It's not spreading more, I would say, but COVID-19 can spread from dead bodies through secretions, I would say. There was some people said that COVID-19 lives in blood for a longer period of time, but still there are not well done studies on that. But it can spread from dead bodies if there are secretions.
So I'll tell you one thing. COVID-19 lives in body fluid even after your symptoms goes away. So it is shown that COVID-19 is in your intestinal fluid, sweat fluid, urine, and even in your stools after 28 days after your symptoms have gone away. So as a surgeon, we have to be very protective, and that's why we are doing in US testing before doing any surgery. Okay, even if so, just a small example. This is not related to dead body, but I had a patient who had cancer and he was COVID positive, and we cannot delay cancer surgery. So what we did is we put him in isolation. We waited for his symptom to settle down. Our protocol is wait for 1 month, and after 1 month we retested him, and he was negative, and then we took him for surgery, cancer surgery. He had lost around 10 kg of weight in that span, which is a big amount of weight before surgery that you lose, and it is not good. But still, we took him for surgery. He did well. He's doing great. He's COVID negative. He underwent a big surgery. So yes, there are fluids which contains virus over there, and that virus can spread. So that may be the reason. There is another question. How can
This is actually a very good question that I should have touched base this. This is from Nayan Khanolkar. It's a nice question that there are some news spread that people are infected and recovered without symptoms. So this, I think Dr. Raki has mentioned that 85% of the people actually get infected, but they get recovered. There are only very people who have who have the vulnerable people are the ones who go in the hospital. How can I understand if I have been recovered through it, and if so, when can I donate plasma then? So the only way you could know if you have recovered through it is if you had symptoms of COVID-19, and if you think that you had COVID-19 or you came in contact with somebody with COVID-19, then you need to get tested for the COVID-19 antigen. And antibody testing is currently not done to see if you have recovered from it, because you can produce antibody, you can actually still have infection going on.
So if I have been recovered through it, is your symptoms should go away, and you wait for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you donate plasma.
Yeah.
So that is the current rule, I think so, which is
There's
followed.
no antibody or COVID PCR testing, because even if you have infection, like Dr. Tushar Samdani said, if you have infection with COVID-19, that virus is going to stay in your body for at least 30 to 40 days. In the early phases, it is going to be symptomatic, then it may not be asymptomatic, or it may not be that infective. So if you do testing in that period, your COVID-19 PCR is definitely going to be positive. So the testing phenomenon does not come actually right now with the plasma. All they need is you have to be symptom free. And some blood banks actually here in US have started to do this antibody titration, where they are trying to get the patient's plasma, check for antibodies, how much antibody titer is in that plasma. So that titer, if that titer works against, neutralizing this COVID-19 virus. So those studies, but they are very early studies which are going on.
There is a question, Raki. First, not many people may know what is Kawasaki-like illness, but there is a question is, what's the incidence of Kawasaki-like illness among the positive COVID-19 children, if you know that answer?
Right. So, as I had told you this early, Kawasaki-like illness is, there is inflammation in the multi-system organ inflammation in your body, which involves the heart, the skin, GI tract, and everything. So the incidence of Kawasaki-like illness is not very clear as to how many children would get it, but they had seen about 180 to 190 children in New York who had gotten it. So it's kind of early to say what the exact percentage of Kawasaki-like illness will be, but what the importance of the slide was that earlier on we had known that COVID does not affect children at all, and they were immune to it up until the age of 16. But unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case. And there are children as young as, neonates and less than 5 years old as well, who are being affected by COVID. So that was the purpose of that slide. I really don't know if we have well documented studies to say what the percentage covers.
One question we have is
This-
antigen testing, its specificity
Yes,
and
this is actually a very nice question from Dr. Shilpa, a pathologist herself. So antigen testing specificity and sensitivity, like I explained, it depends on what phase of illness you are in. If you're doing it in the very early phase, like within a period, the sensitivity and specificity of detecting that particular COVID-19 virus would be less than 20%. If the virus reach its peak when you have symptom onset, your antigen specificity sensitivity is going to be greater than 99%. Now, the platforms that I showed you here in US, these are like really very good enclosed platforms. So all these platforms have a specificity and sensitivity of at least 95%. And if there is some false positivity, we usually get an error and then the sample is retested again for that.
so that is a
I would just like to add one thing, and it's a pretty funny story actually. One of my husband's aunts, she started having fever, and she was told that I told her that, being in Delhi, you should be tested for COVID. So she went and asked her doctor, and the doctor said that, नहीं अभी तो आपको बुखार है, अभी 3-4 दिन रुक जाइए, बुखार होने के 3-4 दिन बाद आपका कोविड टेस्ट पॉजिटिव आएगा. So this is not true. As soon as you have symptoms, as Rashmi said, you can be tested and your test will have a sensitivity of over 95%.
Rakhi, this question for you. We are at 9:58 question. We have still 20 questions to go. This question was asked 10 minutes ago, and this question is virus air spread?
This is actually a very good question.
Air spread, definitely. It's an airborne and droplet spread virus. जब भी आप छींको, आप खांसो, अगर आप 6 फुट की दूरी पे नहीं रहो, मास्क नहीं पहनो, तो सामने वाले को बहुत easily हो सकता है कोविड. कई बार we have noticed, WHO just recently said that it's an airborne disease as well, where small, tiny airborne particles can be there in the atmosphere for a longer period of time. So definitely airborne and droplet transmission.
We will club this question with what precaution you should take while you're taking a flight. So I would just give it to you again. If they are going
for a long flight.
Long flight. Yeah, that's... I would ideally ask you not to fly because, it is so hard. But if you have to fly, then, at least wear a tight fitting mask. And then on top of that, if you have a face shield, that will be very helpful. Also learn to decontaminate the surfaces. So the seat that you're sitting or the trays that you're using, if you can wipe it off, that will be of help.
और एक चीज है फ्लाइट में आई थिंक सो सम एयरलाइंस आर फॉलोइंग दैट दे आर नॉट मेकिंग एवरीवन सिट नेक्स्ट टू ईच अदर they are spacing it out. They also have regulations nowadays, and they are not even allowing people without mask nowadays. That is in US at least I have heard, but maybe same in India also. But that is what we can say about flight. Now again, one more question, I'll give it to you again. What care should be given to a COVID recovered patient COVID recovered or personally, if you have recovered from COVID, is that what
if
care
you have
should be?
recovered, right? If you have recovered, see, as per CDC guidelines, they are saying that if you are 3 days after your last fever, we are asking people to get back to work, or 7 days from the onset of your symptoms, you can get back to work. So most people, they are doing well. You do not need to stay home. If you're 3 days to about, I would say roughly about a week from the onset of your symptoms, if you're doing fine, get back to work. That being said, certain populations are having chronicity of symptoms, like they have persistence of cough, they'll have shortness of breath, They'll have, fatigue. A lot of them are complaining of fatigue and tiredness. So if that be the case, if you unfortunately fall in that spectrum, I would advise that you continue to take bed rest, take fluids, eat as healthy as you can, do pranayam and all that, and that will be of help.
Next question is 4 months since I have recovered from COVID. Can I still donate blood for plasma? We have answered it. I think so. Yes, you can. Is steam inhalation of any use in preventing the virus? We have almost answered that question with Jalneti, that you can do whatever you think is going to clean your nose, but there is no definitive way. We should use protection, face mask. That would be recommended. So I won't say just steam inhalation. Use all the protective masks and then take care of it. There is, if someone is suffering with normal cold and cough, what are the chances of him getting caught with COVID?
Huh?
Do you think they should get tested for COVID?
If someone is suffering with cold and cough, okay, you have a patient with cold and cough, what are the chances of him getting caught with COVID? Is it more than normal population, or is it same as the normal population?
Oh, no. So definitely much higher risk. That is why we are saying that people during the flu season, we should get the flu vaccine this year. आप लोग को भी अगर flu vaccine ले सकते हो this coming winter, आप लोग को लेना चाहिए, because deadly combination if you get flu and COVID together.
Okay. There is question regarding arsenic album homeopathy tablet. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. Ayurvedic, homeopathic. There are a lot of medications, lot of people have started immune boosters and other things. As long as you know that it is safe, you take it. Otherwise, I would not recommend anything which is not scientifically proven. There was initial cry that hydroxychloroquine is good, and then Raki has said that it is not good. So until unless scientifically proven, please don't take anything. Otherwise, anything has side effects. So it's difficult. And then Raki madam के लिए question है, Vestige is marketing its health supplement to increase immune system. Is it good to take? I answered it my way. Raki, if you have something else to add, please add.
नहीं, वेस्टीज में मैं तो जानती नहीं हूँ वेस्टीज क्या है, ऑनेस्टली बोलूँ तो मुझे पता नहीं है वेस्टीज क्या है, लेकिन यहाँ पे हम क्या क्या सप्लीमेंट्स देते हैं मैं आपको बताती हूँ. हम बोलते हैं पेशेंट्स को विटामिन डी लेने के लिए, विटामिन सी लेने के लिए. अगर आपके मल्टी विटामिन्स में जिंक है तो जिंक भी लेने के लिए बोलते हैं. तो अगर वेस्टीज में ये सारे कुछ हैं तो आप जरूर ले लीजिए, अच्छा रहेगा.
There is a question
I really don't know.
I did not understand.
But this is about WHO guideline, Mr. Trump ban. What your opinion or? I'm not.
Let's
sure
not
if
answer
he
Mr.
is-
Trump's question or political question right now. So we'll go to the next question, which is good. If COVID germs are present in stool and urine, then how can we avoid using common toilet areas in office? So you want to take it, Raki?
See, as I said earlier, अगर आपके पास कोई एंटीसेप्टिक वाइप है तो आप उससे टॉयलेट सीट को वाइप करके अच्छे से यूज करिए. वो जो टैप्स के वो है उनको भी एंटीसेप्टिक वाइप से यूज करिए. उसके अलावा आई थिंक अगर आप ऑफिस में हो, एज तुषार ने पहले बोला कि अगर आप खिड़की दरवाजे खोल कर रखो ताकि थोड़ा सा क्रॉस वेंटिलेशन हो, और अगर मास्क हम लोग सब ऑफिस जाते हैं, ऑल ऑफ अस हैव बीन वर्किंग, and unfortunately यहाँ पे we can't even open the windows and doors because everything is air conditioned here. So at a certain, you guys are at an advantage कि आप लोग ऑफिस में जाके खिड़कियां खोल दो, दरवाजे खोल दो और मास्क पहन लो और आप लोग सेफ रहोगे, और जितना हो सके टॉयलेट की सीट को वाइप करके यूज करो.
और अगर आप एक्चुअली कोविड-19 इन्फेक्टेड हो तो आप घर ही रहो. Don't go in office.
And that time the virus can spread. So as a surgeon, जब हमको भी बोला गया था कि virus is in stool and urine for long time, But we were told that after 10 days, 15 days, that virus is just detected, but it is not infective virus. Okay, so that virus is detected, and that's why we have been conducting surgery after 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, Dr. Girish, how effective is latte milk and Ayurvedic Kada in treating COVID-19? Again, we would say that we really don't know, but if it helps you find whatever, please do scientific things. I can't answer that question.
Now, this asthma and COVID, yes, this is a deadly combination. Actually, in the convalescent plasma that we enroll patients, this is the most commonest question they ask us. Patients who have underlying lung problems, such as asthma. So, asthma and COVID is a deadly combination. But I don't know, Raki can answer how these patients do, like having underlying lung issues along with COVID.
तो भी उसके लिए मैं यही बोलूंगी कि एस्मा जब आपको होता है तो आपके लंग में ऐसे ही इरिटेशन है, देयर इज ब्रोंकियल नैरोइंग, देयर इज प्रोबेबली इंक्रीज्ड इन्फ्लेमेटरी रिस्पांस व्हिच इज जस्ट गोइंग टू गेट वर्स विद द कोविड इन्फेक्शन। तो कोई भी लंग के कंडीशन हो आपको बहुत ध्यान देना पड़ेगा।
There's a question, क्या सच में चाइना वायरस की निर्मित कर सकता है, ऐसा होता है, और 2 वायरस उनके पास है?
So actually, this data is kind of actually there is a lot of controversy whether this virus leaked from a Chinese lab, biosafety lab, level 3 lab, or this virus came from a natural origin. So from the studies done till date, it has shown that this virus, virus ka jo RNA, that is actually a natural origin. It cannot be genetically engineered virus. As far there has been like some data out there that it leaked from the Chinese lab, and they were working. There are a lot of labs working for coronavirus for almost 2 to 3 years now. But when from the studies done till date, it shows that whatever the RNA is of this virus, that's natural origin. It cannot be genetically engineered. In fact, we have a slide here which I wanted to share with you all about how COVID-19 actually, it came from the bats through the pangolins into humans. So initially the bats actually carry a lot of coronaviruses to begin with, and there are caves in China which are filled with bats, and there are researchers in China who are actually doing projects on all these coronaviruses. So the bats actually used pangolins as the intermediate host, and then they jumped into humans, and that's how this coronavirus came. Now, whether it leaked from a lab, it leaked from an animal market, that is still we do not know entirely. But if you look at the genetic code of this virus, it is totally natural in origin. It cannot be genetically engineered in any lab so far.
So this is what Dr. Rashmi feels, but I don't know. There are many theories of this virus coming out. So let's move to the next question, which is a nice question. What type of mask would you recommend, Raki? Simple homemade mask or wear an N95 mask? So now I can answer that, but if you want to take it.
अगर आपके पास N95 मास्क है, आप प्लीज हम लोग को भेज दो।
हाँ, सीरियसली
हमारे पास तो नहीं है, कम है। लेकिन if you're not going to be in a hospital setting, अगर आप दूसरे patients के पास नहीं जा रहे हो, तो just a mask would be fine. It is good enough. तो
N95 mask is used even during surgery only in aerosolized procedure, यानी जहाँ छोटे वेपर्स के साथ वायरस स्प्रेड हो सकता है, जब लाइक पेशेंट को एनेस्थीसिया इंट्यूबेट करता है या अपर रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक में सर्जरी होता है, तो उसी टाइम N95 हम यूज करते हैं. इवन ड्यूरिंग कॉमन सर्जरीज व्हिच आई डू, we are not using, or a laparoscopic surgery, we are not using N95 mask. We are using the routine precaution, but we are making sure that the patient has we are testing all the patients before surgery. That is also one thing. So at home, N95 is not needed. You should use simple homemade mask, and that's what everyone is recommending. Mask की जगह रुमाल use कर सकते हैं. Yes, use it. Role of antibiotic in COVID-19 if you have, Raki.
Yeah, so unfortunately, antibiotics will not work for COVID-19. It's a virus. वो तो वायरस है, वो उसके लिए एंटीबायोटिक्स काम करते हैं बैक्टीरिया के लिए. So sometimes we have used, to tell you honestly, antibiotics, but when we suspect super added bacterial pneumonias, then we do use antibiotics. But otherwise, antiviral is the mainstay of treatment.
If you have a patient who has just a throat infection, irritation, cough, do you routinely send him for COVID-19 nowadays, or no, or what is testing?
मेरे से पूछ रहे हो?
हाँ, आपसे ही पूछ रहे हैं.
तो हमारे यहाँ का प्रोटोकॉल ये है कि anytime there is any patient coming in for sore throat, cough, congestion, which seems to be just probably upper respiratory tract infection, we do test for COVID. क्योंकि हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि वो अगर वो कोविड हुआ और हमने मिस किया तो वो दूसरे लोगों को वो स्प्रेड करे. That is why we are extra cautious and we do test patients even if they have mild symptoms for COVID, just as a precautionary thing to avoid a spread to others.
There is a question, Indian use many spices in cooking. Is there any positive effect in fighting coronavirus? I am not aware of that. Raki, anything?
मैं ये बोलूंगी कि काफी टर्मरिक या हल्दी जो आप यूज करते हो उसका काफी दिखाया गया है कि it helps patients with underlying conditions, but to use it just to treat COVID is probably not really recommended. Just to treat it. I don't know if it has some efficacy or not. I cannot
We
say.
have 40 more questions and we have 6 minutes left. Okay.
This, I don't know, man who says that everyone will suffer at least once from corona. Is it true? So the COVID-19 positivity rate right now in US is 10%, which is not very high. But if you're talking about all other coronaviruses, of course, you might get some other type of coronavirus which is not COVID-19. It is possible.
SARS-CoV-2, you mean to say?
I mean to say SARS-CoV. Just SARS-CoV is not as infective as SARS-CoV-2 is. So
if you say that there is no vaccine in next 2 years, is it possible that everyone can be infected because this is R0 is 2, 3? So that is
yes,
possible.
that's possible too.
That is possible, and that's why you have to be healthy, do your yoga, do your exercises, eat good food, and
80% people are not going to reach to the hospital.
Yeah.
20% are the ones who are going to reach to the hospital, and these are patients who are going to have underlying comorbidities. So those people really need to be extra careful.
There is a question, homeopathy doctor open dawa kar rahe hai. We do not know. I don't support it until it's scientifically proven. Anything from your side, Raki? Homeopathy, Ayurvedic.
होम्योपैथिक का मुझे भी कुछ आइडिया नहीं है. Sorry.
Formality is done for a vaccine. So vaccines, they actually they have to go through a lot of phases, from phase 1 to phase 4.
Phase 1 trial, just एक simple language में 10 patient पे 10 लोगों पे होता है, and it is just to make sure is it safe. Second phase जो phase होता है उसमें देखना पड़ता है कि इफेक्टिव है क्या और क्या डोज में इफेक्टिव है. और थर्ड फेज में जब होता है, जो राखी ने बोला, ऑक्सफोर्ड की एक वैक्सीन आ रही है, एंड देयर इज वन मोर वैक्सीन शी सेड, जो थर्ड फेज, मॉडर्ना हियर इज शोइंग दैट थर्ड फेज में जा रहा है. दैट इज ऑन अ लार्जर स्केल, 30,000 10,000 पीपल पे वो स्टडी होगा.
There's actually a caveat to that Oxford vaccine. The WHO actually came up with a caveat because the initial testing which was done, it was done in the age group of only 18 to 55. So pregnant women were excluded, elderly people were excluded. So still they really need to they should have a solid data if they really want to bring it out in the public and give it to everyone. It's not like a one size fits all thing. Everybody, it has to actually pass through it. There should be a diverse population on testing before they bring it to public.
So phase 3 trial में जब होता है तब larger scale पे होते हैं, and they also test, is it safe, is it effective, and they compare it with other medications or treatment available. So some of the vaccine are going to phase 3, And the question is,
This is actually a good
will COVID-19 be a foolproof insurance? So I have asked and discussed this with many infectious disease doctor, and we'll take Raki's opinion also. So they say that we are not sure. Antibodies effectivity is also getting down after 6 months. They are not effective, and patient can be reinfected. So COVID-19 vaccine will be foolproof. We don't know. In fact, they may last for 9 months, 12 months, and you may need revaccination.
yearly
And the
vaccination.
other thing is, before all this vaccine comes, they have to make sure that it does not cause any long-term side effects. So it is still not that January is the answer, because most of them are a phase 3 trial. Raki, you have anything to add that will the COVID-19 vaccine will be a foolproof?
ये इसका answer time will tell. I cannot tell. Only time will say whether it has long-term benefits or not.
So here is a friend of mine had come in contact with COVID-19 patient, but she's not having any severe symptoms. She's just having rhinitis at least from 12 days and now headache. She after then came in contact with many others. Is there possibility she may be infected? She has come in contact with a COVID-19 patient. If it's a close contact, she should definitely get tested for that. By that, you will definitely come to know if she has infection or not. She haven't visited the hospital due to stigma that she may get positive in the test, but may not have infection. It's better to get tested if she has come in contact with COVID-19.
Is it really required to wash the vegetables or any bag that we buy from the market, and also the clothes worn to office?
Washing vegetables has become a big deal. They have said, I have read in papers where they are using vinegar and they're using water as a combination to clean vegetables. Yes, of course, you should always wash the vegetables and you always have to cook them well before you eat them. At least I would practice that in this COVID-19.
So there is someone who's asked a question.
I'm sorry to jump in. What is the role of sodium hypochlorite in washing vegetables?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If someone has something, I don't know.
So sodium hypochlorite, I think, is an antiseptic, right? So I don't know if it will eliminate the virus too. But don't know much.
There are some Indian doctors who are saying that sodium hypochlorite is safe and it's completely foolproof for washing vegetables. Fine. You can proceed, Dr. Tushar.
So there is a question which is straight to my heart.
You should give a talk on that.
I can give a talk on this because I worked a lot on this. So there is a question. Please elaborate regarding the pre-op precaution for elective surgeries, mainly GI surgeries. So let me tell you, in March, we were working full flown and we had a busy schedule. And all of a sudden, COVID-19 came and we were not knowing anything. So we went through China's record and we studied, and we had a system-wide, I took part of cancer patients and system-wide organization of what we can do. So what we initiated in our hospital is we stopped everything, and then we only started emergency surgeries, and all the patients were tested. We had that capability of testing. That 10 days, 15 days break gave us capacity to get our testing kits ready and everything. And then slowly phases opened. I continued my cancer surgeries. And as I said, the first cancer surgery which I did in the system, was for COVID positive. We waited for 4 weeks before we did that surgery. He became asymptomatic, his symptoms subsided, and then we tested him again and then did his surgery. So that was the precaution which we took. Nowadays, we are full flown. We are doing all elective surgeries, but all patients are tested. Now, if the test is and so the way it works is you get tested and the patient goes into quarantine for 5 days. We get the result. And once the result is negative, we take him for surgery. If the result is positive and the surgery is not an urgent surgery, he waits, because it can not only cause problem to him during surgery, but can cause a problem to all healthcare workers and spread the virus. So we wait. And then again, we wait for 1 month and see how it goes. And then we retest him. That's a policy which we are following in our institution. And we are around 10 hospitals